So, I'm gonna rant to you guys. I did all I could on Twitter. It's moved on to YouTube. So basically, I was awoken this morning by our local county enforcement officer. Knocks at the door, who's actually extremely professional and polite and extremely helpful. So shout out to him, because I can't imagine he meets a lot of friendly people in his line of work. But he gave me the benefit of the doubt and was extremely polite. But he was here from the Community Development Agency to issue me violations for operating a business within my home for uploading and creating YouTube videos. He informed me that if I did not cease filming and uploading YouTube videos from my residence within 2 weeks, that I was going to receive a summons to court, that I'd have to appear in front of a judge and could face fines of up to $136 a day. And he cited what constituted me operating a business in this house was the equipment that I used, being my gaming computer and my console and this camera. I'll actually go into all this in a lot more detail, but I wanted to start off this video by saying normally, in 99.999% of any other plausible scenario ever, you should never talk about publicly or on social media, literally at all, to anyone but your lawyer, any kind of pending legal issue that you have. If you're in any stage of the judicial process or any kind of process, having any potential consequences that could end up in court, you should just avoid speaking about it, period. That being said, the reason I'm making this video is it contains a legal issue that literally applies to about 9 people on the planet right now that could have an extreme impact on one of the largest growing sectors in the American economy right now, and that is the home-based business. And moreover, I'll eventually explain why making this video can have zero impact on any kind of court findings or any kind of evidence in a court. But again, I'll stress, normally in any other situation, we're like in the tiniest fraction of the millionth percentage of a fucking situation. But I feel like I should give you guys a little bit of background just in case you're not familiar with my vlogging channel or you're not keeping up with me personally or just seeing this video because of the clickbait title. I'm a professional YouTuber who daily vlogs, so I basically film my life wherever I'm going, whether I'm at the house or I'm at Walmart or I'm traveling. And in addition to those videos, I also make gaming videos and all kinds of videos that I film right here in my home here in Atlanta, and then I upload them to YouTube. Now in this house, I live with a whole bunch of my friends who do the exact same thing, and that point right there is going to become extremely relevant later on in this discussion. So this all started about a month ago when we moved from New York here to Atlanta. We just moved in, I think, on December 1st. Obviously, the first 2 weeks of moving in was pretty chaotic because we had people coming from all over the place, all kinds of things being delivered. Every single one of my roommates and myself had our entire bedroom suites delivered by Amazon Prime. Almost every stitch of furniture, every electronic, every piece of clothing, everything in this house was delivered via Amazon Prime. Combined with the internet guys that were here like every other day, we had an extreme amount of traffic coming up our driveway, forcing my roommate's girlfriend to park her car in the street. Now that's in no way illegal. Even the guy that came here to issue us the violations wasn't here about that at all. But normally in nice neighborhoods, you don't park on the street because everyone's got a big enough driveway, and everyone just kind of abides by, like, I guess the homeowners association like guidelines or bylaws of living there by not parking in the street. And there's really nothing they can do besides be a pain in your ass, which is pretty much the reason why this whole situation exists. So basically, within 2 weeks, a very angry neighbor came up to my door. He was extremely displeased that we had left Rachel's car in the street for 3 or 4 days, or a whole weekend as he had put it, and the fact that we had left our lights on over the weekend. I had been traveling. I'm usually the person that goes around this house and turns off the lights. I wasn't here, so the lights stayed on. But he did see that I was extremely young, and it was like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and it was very obvious that I had just woken up. But I had just landed from Las Vegas, like, I don't know, like 6 hours prior, so I had an excuse. But this older gentleman, who I'm assuming is an extremely important person in his world, saw that I was a younger guy and proceeded to yell at me like he was my dad. I did not take this very well, and he'd even said that he was from the homeowners association, and I had basically told him exactly what the homeowners had told me, was that if they had approached me about anything, for them just to speak to the homeowners and then they would tell us what to do, basically. That was where I was placed on the hierarchy or the line of communication. Well, he didn't take it that well. I think he took it as disrespect, but really I was just half asleep, and that's what I had been told to say. Shortly thereafter, he called me an arrogant asshole and stormed off, and that was the last I'd heard of it. So I guess that guy moved on from being pissed about the car and the lights, because we eventually moved the car and we started turning the lights off. We don't want to be bad neighbors. I mean, we're really quiet people. We wear headsets all the time. We don't play music. We don't party. We literally just keep to ourselves and play games all day. I'm guessing sometime within the next few days, he went down to the county enforcement office and actually filed a complaint saying that I was operating a business out of my home by filming and uploading YouTube videos, and actually quoted my YouTube vlog channel. How he found my channel, I have no idea. We've been outside of this house like maybe 4 or 5 times. But nope, he went down there and in the complaint told them, here's his YouTube channel. He's filming and uploading YouTube videos from his home, and that constitutes a business. And the shocking part is, they agreed. But they can't disagree on the spot just because some private citizen comes and says that. No, they actually went and watched like a good portion of my vlogs. The enforcement officer that came to our house knew almost everything about me. He knew everything about what was inside the house, everyone that was living there, knew why we were there, what we called things, what we do for a living, knew absolutely everything. And that right there, that fact, makes this situation only applicable to like 7 or 8 people on this entire planet. Anyone who's ever had to deal with a homeowners association or a zoning board or any kind of shitty neighbor that brings in the courts over a tree or you parking cars in the street just knows that you play nice, you pay the fine, and you go about your business. Whether you stop the behavior or continue it, for the most part, no one has any way of proving anything. In 99.9999% of other situations, this exact scenario would be just unprovable because you would have absolutely no idea what someone's doing in their house unless they had traffic coming in and out of the house, which we don't. They had clients coming to visit, which we don't. They sold a product and they were constantly shipping stuff in and out, which we don't. Was maintaining some kind of manufacturing facility, anything outside of a home office in a house. Really, for the most part, no one would have any way of proving that whatsoever without violating like a million other privacy laws. And as you can see from my videos, I live here in this little corner right here is where I make my videos, except I'm a daily vlogger, so I film myself wherever I go. And that right there is probably the single most important thing of this entire video, because I have a daily public record of what I've been doing, what I'm going to do, who I'm with, all my plans, a basic full circle picture of my entire life. And because the courts have that, they have an instant view not only into everything that I have done or said about what we're doing here, what we plan to do here, but everything that I'm going to film after this, because there's no way I'm going to stop vlogging. I'm not going to pretend that everyone's going to move out and that we're not making YouTube videos here just to appease a court or to create evidence in a court to help us out. There's no way I'm going to tell everyone to move out for 2 weeks and then come back once this is all blown over. Because I'm a daily vlogger, making this video has absolutely no impact on any court findings or any kind of evidence ever. They already have plenty of it. They have 374 consecutive daily vlogs that can show everything that we're trying to do here. So this situation, this extremely unique and rare scenario poses the question, is filming and uploading YouTube videos from your home constitute the home as a business? Does it matter how many views I have or how much income I make from it? Because to be honest, I do the same thing millions of other Americans do. Everyone's got a Twitter, everyone's got a Facebook and puts photos and videos up on it, everyone's got Instagram, everyone Snapchats their whole entire life and puts it up on social media. There's literally tens of thousands of people who upload videos all the time and they only get like a couple of views and they film them about their families, about their outings or their vacations. At what point does that turn into a business, making it where you can't do it in your home? Now, if you don't think this is a serious issue, you should, because as a legally trained person, I can tell you, your home is the most constitutionally protected area you can ever be. A man's home is his castle. That is one of the principles our forefathers built this country on. And because I film my daily life, I have given over a wealth of material to the government to basically peer into my life and find out exactly what I'm doing in my home, which is a non-illegal activity which I pay an extreme amount of taxes on, that I operate solely by myself within the confines of my home office. Literally a 9x9 square here in my bedroom. Now, I've said a couple times in this video that this situation only applies to like a handful of people, because believe it or not, there's not a whole lot of people in this world that live with a whole bunch of friends in a big house and film their daily lives. Out of like 4.5 billion people, we are the only people that will ever have to face this issue with any kind of zoning board or HOA dictating what we can do in our homes. Because if I was any other person, that officer would have came here to make his judgment call on whether I was operating a business, and I would have nothing. No foot traffic, no clients, no sign on the door, no business address, no listing, and no equipment, because he would have never been able to see into my bedroom because he was not allowed to enter my house. He talked to me on the front doorstep, and that's where he had to make his judgment call. That's why you'll never hear about a HOA situation like ever. Normally you would just close your door and go on operating your business because they would have just no way of knowing unless you're actually operating like a real like storefront from your house, which I'm obviously not doing. I have very few visitors to the house. I never leave. Everything I eat and have is like delivered to me. I don't even play music loud because I use a headset. To be honest, I'm actually really excited to go to court to find out what the judge rules and what he says. Of course, I'm going to hire a lawyer to come with me. I'm going to be responsible. But I can't wait to see if he rules that filming and uploading YouTube videos from your house turns your whole home into a business. And I want to break this down for you because a lot of people view law as like this huge pot of shit that everything gets put into and they just pull a verdict out. But that's not actually how it works. There's an extremely procedural way of looking at this issue because we violated very specific laws or codes within like their municipal book around here in Cobb County. To start off, just in case you don't know, because we make it look like that, but GFuel actually doesn't rent this house. I'm the primary leaseholder. I am the only person on the lease. I 100% lease this house. So these violations are against me personally, and only me, and the material they're using to say I breached their criteria is my vlogging channel. And the rule they've cited that I have broken is no employees, clients, materials, equipment, etc. allowed at the residence. And I actually asked the county officer to explain this, and he was extremely polite and very professional. He was very helpful. He definitely stuck around for like 20 minutes longer than he had to explain my barrage of questions, because I just had no idea about any of this. So when he told me I was in violation of operating a business within my home, I asked him what exactly within the list of things I'm not supposed to be doing did I violate? Because like I said, we have no employees, we have no clients, we have no foot traffic, we have no people coming into the house, we have no deliveries going in and out. We're not making anything here like manufacturing wise. He said it was my equipment, to which of course I was like, are you kidding me, right? Because it's a gaming computer. Almost everybody has a computer. I have an Xbox 360, a PS4, a gaming computer, and some monitors. These are not extravagant purchases or professional equipment even. These are normal consumer products. There are people out there that film videos on $20,000 4K cameras, or even like 6K rig setups with steady cams. No, this camera costs $1,000 off of Amazon Prime. I film, edit, upload, produce, market, respond to, and manage all my own content within me in this little 9x9 space in my home. But as I mentioned before, he had seen my vlogs and could tell you everything about this house, because we filmed every inch of this house. And he specifically said that his department, so I'm guessing they all got together and made this judgment call before he came over here, that this gaming setup that I have right here that consists of this computer, these monitors, and these consoles constitutes business equipment in violation of their code. So that's what I'm violating. It's not that I have employees, clients, or that I'm doing anything. It's because I'm operating a business here with my business equipment. Now I would like to say there's just no way a judge anywhere would find me making YouTube videos in my home and filming me and playing video games and uploading it to YouTube within the privacy of my home, within my little home office, would constitute this entire house as a business. And why I make such a big deal about pointing that out is the county officer didn't tell me that I was operating a business from my home because I had a whole bunch of friends here and we were making YouTube videos. The fact that I own an esports organization and some of our members live here in the house, only one of which actually plays esports, was not a factor that he mentioned at all. The fact that we warmly refer to it as the TKGFuelHouse, you'll never see that in any contract ever, that we have to call this place the TKGFuelHouse. We do that because we love Cliff. So just in case you thought because I have a lot of roommates who do the same thing I do and they all upload to YouTube and we all live here together, was the reason they think that we're operating a business here. It's not. They said directly to me is because I had business equipment in my house. So basically, unless I get rid of this business equipment or stop using it for a business purpose, being uploading videos to YouTube from my home, then I can actually face a fine up to $136 a day. So believe it or not, buried within this extremely unique and rare situation is a legal issue that could potentially affect hundreds of thousands of self-employed Americans. I'm willing to bet that over the next 10 years, a very large, measurable percentage of Americans are going to start working from home in home-based businesses. And this is only possible because all the services that they will offer and all the communication and work that they will actually do will all be contained within a 9x9 portion in their home and can all be done online, so that the onlooker or the nosy HOA chairman who's staring at your house from your mailbox just sees a house because you're just living there and you're working from this little area. But if that court finds that this gaming setup, this computer setup constitutes business equipment and therefore transforms this entire home into a business, that'll be the first time a court has ever decided that anywhere, ever, let alone in Cobb County. Even the officer told me that they've never had a case like this before. They have nothing to go on. Because I asked him, I was like, has this happened before? What happened in these other situations? So that's kind of how law works. The law kind of builds on itself. It's called jurisprudence. I've never been able to say that. Even in law school I couldn't say it. Jurisprudence. I don't know, something like that. Now obviously this finding will only have an effect on the area in which the court has jurisdiction over, being Cobb County. So it's not like if I go to court and they actually rule that way and find that I'm operating a business in my home, it's not like that's going to impact the whole entire country and every single YouTuber out there is going to have to worry about a legal problem. No, that's just in Cobb County. But it will be the first time in all of history that a court of law has ever ruled that uploading your home videos to YouTube transforms your entire house into a business, opening you up to multiple fines, basically forcing you to move. To put it in a more triggered way, basically the government is telling me what I can and can't do with a camera and an internet connection in the privacy of my own home. Violating no other laws, doing nothing illegal, filming and uploading YouTube videos using my personal computer within the privacy of my own home is not one of my constitutionally protected rights. That the government can come in and fine me for what I'm doing. So at this point in the video, I want to look at outcomes. What could possibly happen? So one of two things can happen, because obviously in the next 2 weeks we're not all moving out, and obviously I'm not going to stop vlogging, or at least I'm not going to start making vlogs and make it look like we're complying, because that's just bullshit and I don't live a fake life. Basically, when we inevitably go to court, there's one of two things can happen. One, the court can decide to just ignore the county's assessment and just rule that I'm not using my home to operate a business, that I'm using my home office to manage an online business, which is actually what's happening here. So I am kind of faithful, or at least I hope, that the judge is under the age of like 50 and can kind of see like the landscape of social media and online businesses and actually draw a line on what actually counts as operating a home business, which I would think would have to have like customers or employees or some kind of business activity happening at the house, which is not confined solely to the home office. If I was going to represent myself, which I absolutely will not do, I would basically argue that we don't violate any of this criteria except for equipment, and that all that equipment is solely confined within my 9x9 home office, which is totally allowable by every law in the fucking books. They could argue that I walk around the whole house with my camera and stuff like that, and a lot of the filming does happen outside of this home office, but the actual business side of it happens here. Otherwise, I'm just filming home videos or making funny videos with my friends and posting to social media like everybody else in the whole country does. The only difference between what you do and what I do is I sit in my home office and I edit and upload it. A reasonable judge might see that difference, that the business activities are confined to the home office, and therefore does not transform the whole entire home into a business. I'm hoping that happens and everything just goes away and we can just go on with our merry little lives and just have this happy story. When we moved into a neighborhood and almost got kicked out within like 3 weeks of living there. But no, more than likely that judge is a little bit older and been practicing law for a very long time, and there is no jurisprudence available, there is no case law, nothing has ever happened like this ever before in any court in the country. So this judge literally just has the facts to judge his opinion on. He's got no law to go by, nothing to guide him whatsoever. And from my 3 years in law school, I can tell you that when a judge or a panel of judges is faced with an opportunity to create some law, when there is none before and they actually get to do something, often they do. So most likely the combination of the facts at hand, he'll probably rule that I am operating a business out of my home, and that could result in me getting daily fines of up to $136. And even then, one or two things can happen. One of them's assured. Well, obviously we're going to have to pay the fines for the 2 violations that we have, and then it's up to the county enforcement officers whether they continue to watch our vlogs and continue to see whether we continue to break their municipal code. Because in most of these situations, like I said earlier, you pay your fine and then you just go on living your life and hope that this never comes around again, as long as you don't like butt heads with anybody and no one ever brings it up. Usually it just all gets swept under the rug and everyone gets to just go on living happily with their neighbors. I really hope that one happens. I hope that that guy who was ticked off at our conversation earlier sees what I had to go do and I paid the fines, probably sees this video because he's the one who went and found this channel. Maybe the guy that complained will see that I've gone through this whole entire mess with the courts and all that shit and I paid my fines. It was like a huge slap on the wrist, and as long as we don't park on the street or leave our lights on, he just won't complain about us anymore to the enforcement agency, which will stop them from coming to my house most likely. I'm not actually sure if the officers would take it upon themselves to actually go continue watching my vlogs to see if we're violating or not, or whether they just wait on the HOA or a neighbor to complain again. Which brings us to our third option, which I'm willing to bet is probably the most likely situation, and that the officers who've just experienced this extremely unique and rare case, and it's probably the first time I've ever had to do anything like this, continue to monitor our vlogs and continue to see that our behavior has not changed and we're still living the exact same we did before, and then continue to issue fines on us, which we will eventually have to move. We pray to God that if that actually happens, the homeowners will be really cool and let us out of our lease and we'll just go find another place to live outside of Cobb County where they have a little bit more relaxed of zoning ordinances. So who could this affect if like other courts and other counties and other states all decide to hold the same thing, that if you film yourself in your home and upload and edit to YouTube that you're operating a home business that violates your HOA or your local county ordinance against operating a business in your home? Well, in large part, anyone who operates an online business, anyone who has business equipment in their home, being a personal computer or a cell phone or a sewing machine or an arts and craft desk, even the business consultant or the lawyer who takes a client call from home that has a webcam and they talk over Skype about business. He just transformed that webcam and his whole entire setup into business equipment, and that's enough to find him operating a business out of his home. Even though it's entirely online and the public isn't invited to his house, that's a business. But let's talk about some people that you guys might be more familiar with. Pretty much everybody on YouTube that makes do-it-yourself videos, how-to videos, review videos, vlogs apparently, just if you film your life and make home videos, that counts too. So pretty much all your favorite YouTubers, from Roman Atwood to PewDiePie, all the way down to the guy that's just starting his channel making do-it-yourself stuff at home. Even the guy that's heating up knives and cutting apparently everything he owns in half, that guy too, his home is a business. So basically this court case is going to decide whether you can do YouTube from home or do you have to move to an office. The only exception I can see is maybe gaming YouTubers, because they don't film any part of the home like whatsoever. So pretty much every YouTuber who's ever filmed himself, you're operating a business, your home's a business, and you have to get the fuck out. And that's not even it, believe it or not. So I started off this video by saying normally, in 99.99% of scenarios, situations, whatever, I would never talk about any kind of pending legal issue or proceeding or anything like that ever, because what you say on social media, especially on social media, can have a very real impact on, you know, the outcome of your lawsuit. And the reason why I said this video is going to have zero impact on the outcome of this situation doesn't even exist to the court. Believe it or not, they have all the information I've just said in droves. So I have 374 freaking vlogs I've uploaded that shows all of this. They didn't just hit us with one violation, they hit us with two. And the second one we're in violation of, as it mandates that we can only have a single family here in the house. And this was defined to me by the county enforcement officer as no more than 2 unrelated people are allowed to dwell in this house. And we face those same daily fines as long as we have these people living here in this house. Now obviously everyone just can't move out because that defeats the purpose of having this house entirely. And I'm not gonna go leave this house by myself, well, with one other person, to go film my vlog every day to avoid filming the inside of this house so that, you know, the court can't see how many people we have living here. I'm just not gonna do that, and there's just no way around that. We had no idea that that was a thing. This completely blindsided us. I had no idea that this was a thing that people would actually enforce. I've lived this way my entire life. My entire adult life, I've had at least 2 or 3 roommates. In college, we had a big ass house with like 5 of us. After that, in law school, we had another house that had 6 of us. After that, we had my house in Atlanta, and there was like 8 of us in there. And then we had the New York house, and now we have this house. Literally, ever since I left my childhood home, I've lived with 4 or 5 other adults in which we kicked in rent and just rented a house. Despite the litany of constitutional Supreme Court cases that surround that definition, not only do I find it offensive that the government can tell me who I can live with, I'm insulted by just the definition. It's outdated and it's ageist. The judge that's most likely proceeding over this case was raised in an era where people got married in their early 20s, and as soon as they got their first job, as soon as they graduated from college, went to go immediately start their nuclear family. In the last 20 years, the number of people who do that has been plummeting. There was even a study, they found a causal link. The more educated a person is, the less likely they are to have kids, or at least to start a family before they're 30. So when that college graduate gets his first job, and then gets his first promotion, then probably moves laterally in between companies for a raise, otherwise more and more successful, the government has ruled that he is only allowed to live in an apartment. Despite how successful you are, or how much space you want, or how big of a home you want, the only way you can own it is if you live alone or if you start a family. I find that incredibly out of date. I think the government would find that this living situation, being a bunch of people around our ages all living together in a nicer house in a nicer area, not only happens all the time, but is desirable. This is my pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness. I wanted to move into a big-ass neighborhood, into a big-ass house, and you're telling me I can't live here because I don't have a family. But all that jabbering is just pointless, because I doubt they're going to rewrite this code or rewrite this law because of us. I doubt there's enough people who live like us in this ritzy-ass area for them to overturn that law. And even if there was, I doubt they'd do it. Because in 99.99% of other situations, you wouldn't have someone just walking around the house filming themselves and everything they do. So the long and short of it is we're most likely going to have to move. I have no idea when that's going to be, because it all depends on when this court case is, because I'm most likely going to receive the summons within the next 2 weeks, because that's what the guy told me. Which if I get that summons, I can almost assure you we're going to lose that case, and we'll probably start looking for a house then and there. Now I've chosen to take an extremely positive look at the situation, because I was stressed out earlier today. As you can see on Twitter, I spent like a good 30 minutes just complaining. I was pretty down, I'm not going to lie, but then a wave of positivity hit me, and really I just realized our lifestyle is non-traditional. What I do on a day-to-day basis is extremely uncommon. I get to basically live my life and film it, and this provides me with an income. And you guys are so fucking awesome. Not only have you enabled myself to do that, but all my friends too. Literally everyone I introduce you guys to, you go watch their streams, you go subscribe to their YouTube channels, you interact with them on Twitter. Like, we live an extremely blessed life. And this occurrence, if we have to move after being kicked out after being here only a month, to be honest, that's just good vlog footage. My life has been crazy and sporadic and panicked for the last 2 years. Why not have it happen in 2017 too? If we were just sitting here in this house and nothing bad ever happened to us, and we are not affected by anything at all, and we just went happily along doing whatever the hell we want, I don't think that would be real. Which is okay for most YouTubers, but I daily vlog with the sole purpose of showing you guys my actual life. And the ups and downs just come along with it. Sometimes the downs actually end up being kind of funny. Only TK can move into an extremely rich neighborhood and get kicked out within 3 weeks for parking a car on the street and uploading YouTube videos. That can only happen to us. I bet if you went and checked all the other YouTuber house histories, we're the only ones that have had that happen to us. That's ours. 3 weeks and you're out. tKAllDay. Now obviously I'm making light of the situation by pointing out that I do kind of benefit from my life being a little chaotic and sporadic. But obviously we wish this would all go away. We love this house. We just moved in, just got all of our furniture set up. Some people are still putting together their furniture. We haven't even been here that long. And we're good people, and we're doing nothing illegal, and we pay our taxes, and we behave, and we obey the law, and we're actually really good neighbors. And because of all that, I feel like this shouldn't be happening to us, but it keeps life interesting. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. See you guys tomorrow.